For RCR TV, I'm Joey Jackson. On this episode of Cell Tower News, we hear from Nate Schuett, CEO of Prenav. He talks about applications of precision drones in the tower industry, and we take a look at an intense video out of Pakistan of a mob taking down a Vodafone cell phone tower. Stay tuned for that.
Today's episode is brought to you by Telecom Careers, the #1 global telecom and wireless job board. telecomcareers.net.
For 20 years, Nate has been the undisputed global leader in safety, standards, and education for the wireless and broadcast communications infrastructure industries.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Cell Tower News, where we discuss the backbone of the wireless world. Before we hear from Nathan Schuett of Prenav about his company's precision drone technology, let's check in with our very own Jared Matula, writer of our Cell Tower Wrap column on rcrwireless.com, to see what's new in the tower industry. What's new, Jared?
Thanks, Joey. Well, while I wouldn't say I have good news necessarily, there were no tragedies this past week, so to me, that is definitely good news. Two stories that we have is one, a little bit of an argument, disagreement between two very large companies, and the other one, well, we'll get to that in a moment. So we start with a war of words between T-Mobile US and SiriusXM over interference issues. SiriusXM is asking that FCC look into reception problems reported near T-Mobile US towers in major US cities. Sirius's signal problems were first detected last year when customers in New York City complained their radios went silent during their morning commutes. The satellite radio company says the disturbance is alarmingly severe, extensive, and frequent. And tests show the issues only happen near T-Mobile towers. Both companies agree that the issue is a physical quirk called intermodulation, which happens when two radio frequencies combine to create a third. The new frequency, in this case, is what is causing the disturbance. Sirius says T-Mobile's increased use of AWS-1 airwaves is the root of the problem, so it wants the carrier to share in the costs to find a fix. T-Mobile says it is operating within the FCC's rules, and testing shows the problem is due to inadequate filtering in Sirius's receivers. For its part, the FCC says it needs to understand the problem more clearly before taking action. Makes sense to me. You got to get both sides to fully understand it. So here's the other tower story. American Tower will pay Stevenson High School in Livonia, Michigan, a one-time payment of $900,000 for the use of a cell tower on the school's property. Now here's the thing. This amount is in cash, which is atypical of these sorts of deals. They're usually paid in yearly installments for a determined number of years, say 20 years. That's usually a typical number of years. But last year, the school decided they'd rather make they had to decide if they were going to make budget cuts or if they were going to figure out some other way to bring in revenue for the school. So they decided the tower deal was the way to go. But here's the thing. Previously, the tower was leased on the same property for $60,000 per year. It would take the school district 15 years to generate a comparable amount of revenue under the previous deal. Okay, so normally we don't deem stories like this important enough to report on, but the fact that the deal was paid in cash up front and agreed to unanimously by the school board with no resistance from the community concerning the cell tower makes it a rarity in the ongoing struggle between the communities all over this country and RF exposure and the tower industry's push for more connectivity. So as you read every single week on my tower app on rcrwireless.com, you know that they're always arguing over putting more towers and the community's pushing back. So the idea that everyone went along with this and it was a smooth transition and they paid them out in $900,000 cash, well, this is a deal that seems more like something that Tony Montana would do than a school board. So, hey, props to them. So for more cell tower news, you can check out rcrwireless.com. Back to you, Joey.
All right, thanks for that, Jared. Now to the main part of the show. I was able to catch up with Nathan Schuett, CEO of Prenav, at the recent TC3 Summit in San Jose. Prenav is a company that is pioneering technology in the precision drone space. Nathan showed me one of the company's drones and gave me a quick overview of how the drones work. Let's take a look at that.
Hey, I'm Nathan Schuett, CEO of Prenav. We're a startup here in Silicon Valley that's using commercial drones to inspect cell towers. So this is one of our prototype systems right now. It's a multi-rotor, 8 propellers, 8 motors, and a very high-resolution camera on the front of it. And what we do with this is we fly the drone all around the tower, actually in close proximity to the tower, to capture imagery of the antennas, nuts, bolts, labels on the back of antennas, height above ground, azimuth tilt, all of the components that are needed for a pre-construction, a post-construction audit, or a tower mapping. So this is the system. It's pretty good size. That makes it more robust in the wind. It also allows it to carry around a pretty heavy camera. What I wanted to do was just describe a little bit more about how the system works. Flying in close proximity to something like a cell phone tower or a wind turbine or a smokestack, these tall vertical structures, is pretty challenging because GPS is not accurate enough to control the drone. So what we've built is our own navigation system, and that consists of a laser scanning system that's on the ground that's tracking the drone. So what we have is a line of sight technology that will guide the drone in close proximity to your cell phone tower. And what we're able to do with this configuration is we use the laser scanner actually to build a 3D model of the environment before we fly. So this gives us a map, and it tells us where the structure is that we want to inspect and where any obstacles are. If there are trees in the environment, or perhaps there's guy wires, these are all things that we can scan in advance and be able to design a flight path that avoids them. So a normal flight path for something like this might be that we have the drone go up here and fly all around the tower, capture photos from every angle imaginable. Then all of those photos get uploaded to the cloud. At Prenav, we've built an image processing engine that will assemble all of those photos, build a very accurate 3D reconstruction, and allow engineering firms, carriers, or tower owners to really see a digitized version of these assets. And with how often they're being upgraded, the equipment is constantly changing and becomes out of date very quickly. Having a simple, efficient, safe way to capture this imagery is crucial. And we're building the precision navigation system using commercial drones that makes it possible. So traditionally, these inspections are done by climbers on ropes it's actually a very dangerous job. And what we're planning to do is to sell this equipment to those very same climbing firms and engineering firms so that they can capture this imagery from the ground. And the benefit of our system is that the navigation is all automated. So you don't have to have trained to be an RC pilot for hundreds or thousands of hours. You can use our laser scanner plus the drone, and we're making the technology accessible to people who are already doing this work today.
All right, thank you, Nathan Schuett of Prenav. That's some really cool technology that will no doubt play a big role in the tower industry moving forward. We'll keep an eye on Prenav and all the work that they're doing in that realm. But to close the show, we move to the Tower Climber Facebook groups. This video was posted on the Tower Hands page from the website Telecom Nation. The post says the video is from Pakistan with the caption, "Victory over a Vodafone tower." In the video, you can see lots of people gathered around a large tower, and then suddenly the tower falls. There's no additional information on what's going on in the video, but it appears that the tower was taken down on purpose as the people rush it and climb on top of it in victory after it hit the ground. It's quite an intense video that shows there's still a lot of hostility in the region towards modern communication equipment. It's an ongoing issue that will have to be addressed before developing countries can implement reliable communications infrastructure moving forward. So that's all for me. Thanks for stopping by, and as always, stay safe out there.
Cell Tower News is a production of RCR TV. To reach Joey Jackson or suggest a show topic for Cell Tower News, contact him at jjackson@rcrwireless.com or on Twitter @duck_Jackson. For more Cell Tower news, please visit rcrwireless.com.